Tell me a bit about yourself.
So my name's Kolton Nielsen. I'm married to Buddy in the game, or not in the game in real life, but like she said previously in the previous interview, we have two kids, a daughter 7 years old and a son 2 years old. We've been together for almost 10 years. Actually, it'll be our 10-year anniversary this year, so that's pretty exciting. We just not recently, I would say it's been about 3 years that we've been actually into tabletop games. Started with D&D. I played before when I was younger with some of my friends, but not really anything serious. I was in and out of stories a lot. Big Pokemon nerd. Love Pokemon. We'll die on that hill. Also big into trading card games and that kind of stuff.
Why do you enjoy role-playing games?
I really enjoy stories, and when I really enjoy reading, and especially like heavy fantasy novels that have like really good depth to characters and good development to characters. And it's kind of my way of being able to do that. When I was younger, I had this idea of a book in my head, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna write this. I'm gonna do this because I was really inspired by Christopher Paolini. He was just a couple years older than me. Wrote Aragon, got really big, got really successful and everything. And I'm like, oh, these things are cool. I really like the fantasy setting, but I just don't have that kind of capacity to sit down and write a story and be able to juggle it all and make it all make sense and make it cohesive. So this is like that outlet of being able to get those ideas out there, whether it's my own characters that I'm making or helping other people play in a game.
Who is your character based on?
So Tybar, he's based off a few things. So the name Tybar Wrathbone, Wrathbone specifically, came from, I was watching The Tick on Amazon. I can't remember his full name now off the top of my head, but his last name was Wrathbone. So that's why I picked that. Really fun character, and I really sad the show's not continuing on because there was a lot of interesting little secrets that were starting to pop up. So that's where Wrathbone came from. Tybar comes from an old character I was playing in the previous campaign before we switched to Starfinder, Tyrex. And so Tybar is kind of my way of extending Tyrex's life into this game, and kind of that idea behind that. So took something I was enjoying watching at the time and a character I was enjoying playing, put them together. Fun time. Plus a fun nickname, T-Bone. So
What are some of your favorite moments during the Bleeding Edge campaign?
There's a lot. One of my favorite moments with my character was with Sindarian's mom after she had just killed her father, and I had Tybar grab onto her, and then she starts poisoning me and everything, and I still hold on to her and everything, and I really enjoyed that interaction because I got to show off Tybar's strength, I think, more there than pretty much anywhere else. And then on top of that, one of my favorite lines I've said that just popped into my head was, nobody makes me vomit my own throw up. Just because you kind of get his idea of his intelligence level, But that, and then I think one of my favorite parts in the story was when we raided the lab to get the Bleeding Edge, and we had those wraith things and the shadow things and the malice engine, being able to Ocean's 11 that a little bit, but also have like a Groundhog Day because we screwed it up so bad the first time. And I think the other one I really enjoyed was when we were in the rift. We were boarded by some other group, and then all of a sudden time went all wibbly wobbly on us, and all of a sudden I was super old, and I see one of my rat boys come out and save me. I think that was fantastic. So
that was a fun one. What is it like playing while also being filmed?
I don't think it really bugs me too much. At first, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. The cameras, though, don't really bug me, and they're not really in the way. Yeah, it's in my peripheral, and like I notice them, but I don't feel uncomfortable. And then I watch the video, and I hear me, and I see me, and I'm like, this is why we're not getting many views. But I'm like, no, that's too harsh a criticism. We're all having fun together, but it's not bad.
Don't be hard on yourself. This is supposed to, we're normal looking people playing games, so that we're not professional actors and and professional models. We're people with real jobs. How has playing helped you grow as a person?
It's definitely made me branch out. So my family is down in Cedar City, which is a couple hours down south from where here in Salt Lake. While I was down there, I had a group of friends. I was pretty interactive with people and pretty easy to make friends. And then we moved up here. I didn't have any of that anymore. My family's down there. My friends are down there. And then we moved up here, and my introvertedness really started coming out. I hardly left home after I got home from work. I hardly did anything besides go to work and come home. It's really helped build relationships, because without this, like, I would never have been here. I wouldn't be here in this situation right now. So being able to step outside of myself and being able to meet people who are interested in the same hobby, and it sparked something in me that I didn't realize I had there, of being able to be comfortable with doing a story with other people who have completely different and vastly different ideas of how the story should go, how the characters should interact with each other. And it's just been really fun to experience that, because without the tabletop game, I would never have gone out and made the friends here that I did. And without, Buddy originally coming in here and being like, oh, hey, come over here. Gary wants you to see his setup. He wants to give you some tips, I want to be here. And I would just be at home and being all morose and sad.
Well, I'm glad you're here and not all morose and sad at home. You've been an excellent player and friend.
Thank you.
Describe your character's inner turmoil. What secret desires, fears drive them, even if they haven't admitted it to themselves yet?
One thing that we kind of touched on is Tybar's PTSD with the shadows specifically, and it's been there occasionally. I didn't play it up too much when we were at the Malice Engine at the lab. Probably should have played into a little bit more and shown a little bit more of it then, but at the time I wasn't really thinking about that. I was thinking about how to frick to solve the problem. But he has those scars of seeing people around him die, and it is linked to the shadows, the race. And so seeing those do scare him. It does make him worried, because he realized he was so useless. But really, that feeling of uselessness is what he is most afraid of. So when there are times where he can't hit the problem, he feels useless. And there have been multiple times where it's been like a computer thing, and he's had to try to get his way out of it through computer programming skills that he does not have, and he can't just punch the console. I think his biggest turmoil, though, is that feeling of uselessness. And he won't openly admit it to people, because he doesn't want to seem useless. He wants to seem strong and in front of the problem and being able to conquer said problem. So anytime that he gets that feeling, oh, I can't do this, he's going to start just retroactively going inside of himself and just withdrawing into himself to try to overcome that problem. Kind of being like a turtle and bottling himself up.
Beyond combat, where does your character shine? What unexpected talents or quirks make them a unique fit for the team?
I was thinking about this one really hard, because it's hard with Tybar, because obviously he likes hitting things. I think where he really shines through outside of combat and is interacting with different characters. He's got the little romance going on with Goblina. He's got the sister relationship with Vicky and with Ash. I think those interactions are where you can see a little bit of his softer side. Not so much of his I want to punch and kill said thing. I want to be that kind of pillow that others can lean on, especially those he lets in. And mixing up words and taking something like a longer word that's more than like 3 syllables, he'll take it and shorten it or mix it up somehow and make it into a different word.
Totally fit your character. Which NPC has surprised you the most? Explain how their actions or motivations have shifted your perspective on the story.
I think it's Benny, especially with this last session. I won't say anything about what happened last session, but I think it's Benny. And there's been a couple of times where you describe things about him. I don't think Tybar's been present for a couple of the things, but also Tybar hasn't interacted much with Benny aside from trying to help him with like rewiring the ship. But I think Benny is the one that we always seem to go to for the unexpected answer. And just all of a sudden something crazy that shouldn't work is working. And then there's more to him than just that. His finagling abilities, there's a lot more depth to him that I don't think any of us are seeing. And I as we move forward, especially with where we're at now in the story, Tybar's gonna hopefully be smart enough to recognize that.
We'll see. There's a few things coming up. I'm not going to tell you what, but there are a few things. If you could rewrite one of your character's past experiences, which one would it be and why? What lesson would they have learned differently?
Past experiences. That's hard because everything that's happened, I feel like, has helped make Tybar into the character that he is and helped me make him into the character he is. I think where I would rework anything would be when it comes to letting other people lead in the combat. He's a little more forthcoming when it comes to the combat and going out and stuff and doing that. So I think it'd be more of him getting up into the problem in a couple of the situations we've been into. I think that's mostly where I would rewrite what he's done.
Have you ever made a critical roleplay choice that went wildly off script? Share that story and how it impacted our campaign's trajectory.
That would have to probably be when I was trying to follow Ash's mom's directions with the ship when we had the pirates going on. I was trying to, was it disable the reactor or something, or reactivate the reactor, something like that.
You accidentally triggered the self-destruct. And
yeah.
You had to enter code to make it go away, but you sped up the countdown because you messed it up. And
yeah. And I remember I'm like, I gotta get over there and help him with the pirates, but I can't, nobody's here to do this. And so I think that was one of the big things, because if I would have been able to get over there sooner, I don't think we would have lost Nick. And I think that was one of the things where I fumbled really bad. Or Tybar fumbled, I should say.
As a player, what is the most outrageous or hilarious thing you've ever witnessed in the Bleeding Edge campaign?
It has to be the interaction with Goblina and the bounty hunter. Which hasn't been posted yet. So I can't really talk about that. But out of the things that have happened, I think the whole thing was Zendarian's mom. Going from her being dead to all of a sudden she's up, and now Zendarian's dad is dead, and now we're on the run because we're being blamed for it. I think that right there is one of the craziest and like best convoluted story moments. Like, why would anybody believe this after all we've been through? Why would they believe this? And then it's like, well, she is such a manipulator, so I see why everybody would believe this. It's like when you're reading the story or watching the movie, you're like, why would they think that? Because in the moment, in that passion, they see the house of the head of the house dead. We were the last ones there. Zendarian's mom wasn't alive. So that's probably like the craziest moment where it's like, oh my gosh, I should have seen that coming. I should have done something.
If you could have any weapon or item from lore, which one would it be, and describe how you would use it?
So you would think I would choose the Ichihara gun, but I really like the repulsor knuckles. I think they're a really cool item. Basically having defibrillators on your fists at all times is kind of cool. I like that idea. And I would just like be punching people in all honesty, just to. And then if like somebody all of a sudden had a heart attack, that'd be fun just to go over and just punch them on the chest to get their heart going again. Violent, I know, but it fills my dreams for some reason.
You do you, brother. You do you. Looking ahead, what is one major event or plot twist you hope to see unfold during this Bleeding Edge campaign?
That one was a difficult one. I don't have a good answer for that. But what I wanted, aside from this, and I think it's kind of funny, and it more specifically has to do with a character than anything else, I want to see Joy have a love interest. Or a love triangle appear. It doesn't necessarily have to be between the party members, because, I mean, it would make sense if something happened with another character in Tybar or another character in Goblina, but it doesn't necessarily have to be between three of us players, but like maybe another NPC comes in or something, and there's that. Maybe. I think that would be a funny little spin on things, because there's lots of twists that you throw at us that I'm just like, okay, new problem.
I do like my plot twists. I watched too much M. Night Shyamalan stuff, apparently. Imagine a day in the life of your character outside of adventuring. What mundane activities or personal routines would define their downtime?
In his downtime, he would be at the gym. And if he's not at the gym, he'd be at the bar. If he's not at the bar, he's asleep. He's a very simple character. Very simple dude. But definitely like taking care of himself, at least physically. Mentally, he's not as worried about that, even though he should be, because all those mental problems are a serious issue, and he should have that taken care of. But he's just not ready to face them yet.
That's all my interview questions. So, thank you for doing this and allowing the players to get to know the person behind Tybar and a little bit more about the character Tybar. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.